Welcome to episode number 59 of the Active Geek podcast entitled Villains. In this episode, Chuck and I are talking about the bad guys. And we're talking about bad guys from Marvel, DC, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, G.I. Joe universe, He-Man universe, Star Wars, Disney, Star Trek. We're talking villains all throughout entertainment history and real life history. Like World War II and, Spanish Inquisition and all those other huge historical events that have shaped the world that we live in today. Chuck and I really dig the bad guys and really like the stories that they are focused into, and we really like the thin line that's drawn in the sand between heroes and villains, and how you can cross over said line given certain circumstances. We also talk about what villain we would like to become if it was a movie or a comic book or a television show, who we would think we would personify the most. And also, we rank all of our favorite villains, and we give you our top tier villain, the number one. And mine might be different than Chuck's, and ours might definitely be different than certain websites like ING and Wizard and all these ranking websites that will rank villains throughout time. So without further ado, this is episode number 59 of the Active Geek podcast entitled Villains. Chuck, this is the first episode of 2017 that we've been able to record it. We haven't recorded since Christmas.
Yeah.
Since before Christmas. Because Christmas was on a Sunday. In the last episode we posted, which was Underworld and Resident Evil, we recorded that in October.
Because we thought it was coming out.
Yeah.
A lot earlier.
Well, it was. To our credit, Underworld was technically supposed to be around November 4th. And then it was worried, I guess they didn't have confidence in the movie, so they pushed it back because it was going to be against Doctor Strange and Fantastic Beasts. So, I understand that logic, but it's not doing very well in theaters right now.
I forgot it was out.
Yeah, I think it's 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, but again, I have a love-hate relationship with Rotten Tomatoes. And with Rotten Tomatoes, what we're talking about, it's kind of the topic of what we're going to talk about today. In my mind, Rotten Tomatoes is a villain. To movie franchises, because you can get like Assassin's Creed, for example. You and I saw it, and we loved it.
Yeah.
It was, what did it get, like a 12% or 9%?
17.
17% on Rotten Tomatoes the week leading up to the release, right? So that destroyed the public's perception of it. Nobody wanted to go see it, and for us, the movie theater that we go to, they usually play big movies like Assassin's Creed in multiple theaters. They had one fucking showing time the week of the release.
Yep.
So, in my mind, Rotten Tomatoes is a villain.
Well, they actually, you get movies in Blu-ray now, and they'll say, certified fresh.
Yeah.
So people go by that. And even also, if you, for our listeners, we have Comcast, and they have Xfinity. When you search stuff, it will tell you if it was rotten or not.
Yep.
So people really go by that. And for people to basically say, when Rotten Tomatoes say, it sucked, people go by that.
Yeah.
And we essentially always don't go by that.
Mm.
But, yeah, they kill a lot of movies.
I feel like, and we're going to go on a Rotten Tomato rant for a bit, but I feel like with the whole critic and rating system, right? Not the G through R rating system, but the ranking system, I guess. It's really skewed because you have people who are moviegoers. So having, you and I are moviegoers, but we don't see every movie.
No.
And we have movies that we don't want to see.
Yeah.
For example, La La Land killed it at the Golden Globes, right? That's a certified fresh movie. I'm never going to see it.
No,
You're not going to see it. So if we worked for Rotten Tomatoes and we were forced to see it, going into it, knowing that it's a musical, we'd give it a lower rating.
Yeah.
Because we would zone out during it. However, you and I go see Assassin's Creed, that would be certified fresh for us. So you get these guys who are just movie goers, and they're critics or whatever. I don't know how Rotten Tomatoes works. I don't know who the hell ranks these, but I feel like for each genre, you have to have a specific team. The people who like musicals are the people who like musicals, and they go watch it. And maybe you take one or two people from another team and send them there too. So you have a broader kind of, like, you and I like superhero movies and video game movies and action and some comedies, right? You don't like horror. So why would you go to see The Bye-Bye Man and rank that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how 100% how Rotten Tomato works, but how I think it is, I don't think they have teams.
Okay.
I think what it is...
Just one fucker going
No,
in?
it's independent reviewers, like LA Times and the New York Post and all those. And then Rotten Tomatoes gather their reviews.
I feel like, honestly, what you need to do is it's got to be a test subjects, essentially, because...
But if you look at their thing, it says, Huffington Post.
Okay, so let's role play for a second. Not the type of role play we're going to do afterwards, where you put on your nurse outfit, you give me an enema. But let's say you work for the Huffington Post, right? And you are their senior creative fucking movie editor. I don't know if that's a role or a title, then that's your job. And I'm the star of Assassin's Creed. I'm Michael Fassbender, right? And we're doing all this press, and like, you say, Michael, I want to get you on our Huffington Post movie podcast, or I want to get you to come in for a video or whatever. And I say, sorry, man, I can't do it. You're going to go to that movie, and you're going to give me a scathing review because you're scorned. So you're bitter. I feel like you need to take a group of people, right? So, a local reference, we have Preston and Steve, disc jockeys, right?
Yep.
God, disc jockeys, how fucking old am I? Alright, so we have these guys, Preston and Steve, and they give out movie screeners, right? So, let's say you and I, the Active Geek podcast here, we work for Marvel Films, right? And we hold a contest for all of our listeners. And we say the first... How many seats are in a theater? 50?
Depending.
All right, let's say the first 50 callers or subscribers or whatever will get tickets to see the next Marvel movie, which is, Guardians of the Galaxy. Right? So we get them to go see the movie. And after the movie, they fill out a survey. One, they don't have to pay for anything there. It's a free movie. So they save $10, $11. They fill out a survey. And not only do we do it, but LA does it, New York does it, Chicago does it, Miami does it. Different cities do this. And then they composite all the surveys. And that's where you get the ranking from. Because it could be the death of the franchise. Because I had faith for Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed got blasted here. Warcraft got blasted here. But killed it in China.
Yeah.
But it got blasted here enough that we're not going to get a sequel to Warcraft in the movies here. So that's the Rotten Tomato rant that I just went on, and
You did.
How long did we talk about that? We talked about that for about 7 minutes. That's not what we're talking about as far as our episode today. Not at all. We're not talking about the ranking of movies and the collapse of franchises. We are talking about bad guys, Chuck.
Villains.
The worst of the worst. Not the Suicide Squad, because they were the worst of the worst as far as movies go this year. We are talking about bad guys in general. We talk about heroes a lot. Talk about Green Arrow and Cap and Iron Man and all the heroes. Everyone knows heroes. We talk about them. We talked about anti-heroes, right? We don't give the bad guys any love. You're wearing a Joker shirt.
Yes, I am.
And I know you wore it on purpose because we're doing bad guys today.
Yep.
So good pull for you. But when we think about the word villain, right, it really has a negative connotation to it. What usually comes to the mind?
People who don't obey by the law, and they do what they want, and they're selfish. You know what I mean? Like, villains go out there and, kill, rob, do what they have to do for self-reasons.
Yeah, I think a villain and this is weird, but if you follow along with our podcast, I'm a big wrestling fan, right? So when I hear villain, I think of the word heel, right? Because that's what bad guys are called in wrestling. So I think of the heel, the guy that's going to come through and interrupt things when they're going good. They're going to steal from you. They're going to fuck up the establishment. They rape, they murder, everything that you said. The bad guys. People that you don't bring home to your mother, essentially. However, ladies seem to like the bad boys. That's why I grew this beard.
because I don't want to look like a bad boy. And I bought a leather jacket, and I ripped my jeans. But then, Chelsea's parents were like, "What are you, fucking James Dean? Get out of here, 1950s." So you made a mention to, and I made a mention to, being a villain you kill, right?
Yeah.
Do you specifically have to kill to be a villain?
No. I mean, you rob,
Yeah.
cause mayhem.
Okay.
That's a villain.
But is that is that just a criminal? Like, is every criminal a villain?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so let's put it in perspective. Robin Hood robbed from the rich and gave to the poor. Criminal?
Villain with a heart.
Villain with a heart. Oh, I don't know about that. He didn't go and set people's houses on fire and rape them. He stole from people he stole from the villains.
Yeah.
All right, let's say you and I both like the Roaring 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prohibition, all that stuff, right? We're living in Chicago. Al Capone and his people come through and they do a property tax. Like, we own a restaurant, a pizza shop, Chicago Pizza, right? We call it Cheeses and Chuckles Pizza Castle. You like that? I like it. That's what we're going to call it. Copywritten for the record. All right, so we own Cheeses and Chuckles Pizza Castle. Al Capone comes in and says it's time to pay your taxes. And let's say I have a kid who really needs medical stuff, right? Medical care. And the money that we make from the pizza place, the full profits, my full profits, not your half, goes towards that, right? Capone comes in, he takes it away, right? That's pretty fucked up, right? He's a villain.
Yeah.
What if I go and I rob him? Make me a villain?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between a criminal and a villain. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're a villain, you're not just a menace to one person. You know what I mean? That's your arch enemy. If someone's a pain in the ass to you over and over again, that kid that lived next to you is your arch enemy. You know what I mean? You hated him. He's the bane of your existence. I have arch enemies. They're not villains in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a villain is more of a bigger threat. But I think you do have to kill to be a villain. Like Charles Manson is a villain.
Yep.
But there's a gray area that he might not have killed anybody by his hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but his mind games and his psychopath ways.
He don't have blood. He never had blood physically on his hands.
Yeah. So, but he's a villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that I feel like death has to revolve around you, in a better sense of a definition for me. You have to have the smell of death following you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What separates a villain from a hero? I know it seems like a very simple question, but the thing I gave you about Robin Hood, some people might, like, if you're Prince John, you consider him a villain.
Yeah.
So what separates a hero from a
Well,
villain?
they don't really obey by the law.
Okay.
And they do what they want. You know what I mean? They don't go by a certain set of rules. They kind of what I said earlier, they're selfish.
Okay. So, I agree with you. Early days in Arrow, right? Oliver's going out and he's killing the people on his list.
Mm-hmm.
Hero or villain?
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero. And we talked about what's that great line, right?
Because he was killing bad people.
What if he has to kill somebody as a hero? Like, you would consider Green Arrow a hero now, right?
Yes.
Let's say that Deathstroke comes, and and Deathstroke is a villain, right? Yeah. And he's going to launch a nuclear war on Star City. And the only way you're going to stop him is if you kill him.
Yeah, it's still a hero.
So a hero would kill somebody
if you're killing bad
for the greater good, right?
Yes.
But what if someone gets crossfire?
Casualties of war.
Okay. I like it. I like where you're going. So I think that breaking the law. I can't say breaking the law because certain heroes break the law.
Yeah.
I think the only difference is that if you go in there with a motive and for personal gain, you're a villain.
Yeah, that's selfishness.
Yeah. So where certain heroes might go in for personal gain, But then that straddles the line of anti-hero and not villain, because like, you know, Captain America's not a villain because he goes off on his own and becomes Nomad. You know what I mean? But Wolverine, at some point, you could classify him as a villain when he's going berserker, and it's only for Logan's gain.
Yeah.
It's not for Professor X. It's not for fictional you and I's gain. You know what I mean? So I think that once you get selfish and you have a personal gain and there's vendettas and you kill people, innocent people, that's when you become a villain. All right? I made mention to Charles Manson, right? We've had some really real villains throughout our time and before our time. Throughout history, we've had villains. Historically, when you think of some villains, who do you got? I'm sure we have, like, we're top number one is going to be the same.
Hitler.
Yep. He's the creme de la creme as far as villains.
Yeah, he was fucking maniacal and
scumbag number one.
Yeah.
But he thought he was doing right.
He didn't, and his followers did.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any more villains?
Genghis Khan.
Yep.
Al Capone.
Al Capone. Oh, second time we've referenced Al Capone, and we both didn't know this list before we went into this episode.
John Dillinger.
Oh, Johnny Dill.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. Some say he's fictional. I don't think he's fictional.
No.
I don't believe it. I think he's legit.
I think people created a fictional character out of it, but there was someone killing.
Yeah, do you think the character, or the person, Jack the Ripper, do you think he killed as many people as the character says he killed?
I mean, what was it, dozens of women and...
Killed prostitutes.
Yeah.
You know, they don't do good. Well, they do good. They do good for people who need them, right? They provide a service.
Well, did you hear there was I think a Russian guy who was just convicted, and he admitted to 80 murders.
It's crazy.
He was killing prostitutes. He was cleaning the streets, he called.
Jesus. Villain. He's a villain. For sure. I don't know your name, Russian man, but you are a villain. Did you have any more on that list?
No, that's just the ones that just came on top of my head.
Well, you know, you think Mussolini was a villain. And then John Wayne Gacy, Richard Ramirez, Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killers. They are criminals. You could take some of their storylines and adapt that to a comic book, and they would be a popular villain. Yeah. And you can put them in the movie. But then when you say, this is based off of a true story, this is based off of a real man, you're like, fuck, what kind of world do we live in?
I mean, I'm sure, Hitler has been in comics because Captain America fought him.
Yeah.
But, and
beat his ass, too. Take that.
But I'm sure a lot of comic book creators took
Jeffrey Dahmer.
And got ideas from villains in real life.
Yeah, cannibals and just psychotic clowns. That sound familiar? With the Joker and Pennywise, psychotic clowns that go out and kill people. It's John Wayne Gacy for you. Mm-hmm. All right, so comic books, the fictional world, right? Mm-hmm. They have some of the best villains overall, right? Who are these best villains? Like, just think about some of the best comic book villains. Who do you got?
I mean, we just mentioned Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Red Skull's one of the best ones, I think.
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes in line with Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
And, like, the thing about with comic book villains in the world that we live in now, a lot of people don't... Let me rephrase. There aren't a lot of dedicated and devoted comic book people in the forefront of the geek fandom that we're in now. Right? I read comics, but I don't read a ton of comics. Mm-hmm. I'm not at the comic book store every Tuesday buying comics. No. You know what I mean? You're not at the... I think it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll say Wednesday. You're not there. We live in an entertainment-driven world where everything's on the screen. Yeah. So you get Red Skull, right? And he does seem like a very badass villain to Captain America. But he's one and done. Yeah. In the comics, he's huge. His story arc is huge. Humongous. Ultron's story arc is huge. Obviously, we know the Joker because he's been force-fed to us from 1966 to present. Yeah. You know what I mean? For 50 years, we know about the history of the Joker. We know how epic he is. We know that a Batman movie's not going to survive without the presence of the Joker. Yeah. Or the lead up to the Joker. But you get characters like Doctor Doom, who gets portrayed in 2 shitty movies.
3.
Was he in Rise of the Silver Surfer?
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 shitty movies. They don't know how awesome he is. And most people aren't going to know how awesome he is because Fantastic Four got canceled and now Doctor Doom's in like the infamous Iron Man. You know what I mean? But it's still not the same Doctor Doom. Same thing with Yellow Jacket. We live in a world where villains are exposable. Or not disposable, not exposable. They are disposable. And they're a one and done because how many Avengers movies can we have when he's fighting Ultron?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you think of like characters like that as some of the best villains. And then you have Loki. Loki's dope. He was a Norse god, for God's sake. And he was an existing character before he was in the comic books. Yeah, thank you. But then you think, when I think about it, you have Electro, who's a really good comic book character villain. You have Thanos, who we're about to see in the universe. MODOK, Captain Cold, Reverse Flash, all the speedsters. They're cool. But when it comes down to the best of the best, it's probably Venom and Carnage and the Joker. Joker's probably top 3 in most people's top 3s. You know what I mean? So who has the best? I'm going to give you 3 choices, right? Who has the best villains? Marvel, DC, or Disney?
I mean, it's really hard.
It is very hard.
Because, DC has good villains, but DC, stops at Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Superman, he's got a couple good villains, but Batman's got so many.
Yeah, when you think... Alright, so... Well, I did use this hypothetical a lot. We go to a Comic-Con, right? Mm-hmm. And we have... And this never happens, because we're not going to get people to fill out a survey at a Comic-Con. Yeah. Because we're not paying for a booth, and 2, it's against the rules if we do this anyway. So we give them... Give me your top 5 DC villains. I guarantee you 4 of them are going to be Batman villains.
Oh, yeah.
And if for the same thing with Marvel, 4 of them might be Spider-Man villains. Mm-hmm. So it kind of ends and starts.
I mean, Marvel to me has a more.
Yeah, I would say 4 villains from Spider-Man and Loki. If for the hypothetical I just gave at the Comic-Con, you know what I mean, they would be the 4. But finish what you were saying about the between picking these 3.
So I was going with that, and then so to me they would be third out of those choices.
So DC would be third.
DC would be third. Mm-hmm. And then Disney's got a lot.
They do.
And a lot of good ones. I mean, a majority of them are animated.
Yeah.
But I think I would probably go with Marvel.
Marvel's number 1.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm going DC number 1. Because of the Batman villains. Because the story arc that they've created, and we know my opinion on Batman.
Yeah.
Kind of think he's overrated. Mm-hmm. So they've taken one single character and they've crossed him over into so many different genres or so many different franchises, mm-hmm. right? Currently, the Justice League, including Batman, has crossed over with the Power Rangers, mm-hmm. right? So there's a really dope cover of Batman going down, it looks like he's probably going down a well or whatever, and Kimberly is attached to him. And they're going down to fight a fucking horde of putties. Right? Like the old school Mighty Morphin Power Ranger putties. Not the new school fucking sand golem people that we're about to get in the movies. So, Batman crossed over with the Power Rangers. He's crossed over with Ninja Turtles.
That was a great arc.
Yeah. And he's going to cross over into the Hanna-Barbera comics as well in the upcoming future. Yeah. DC's doing the whole thing. I saw a comic cover of Space Ghost and Green Lantern. It looks amazing. The comic cover looks super dope, and I'm going to get it. I'm framing that bitch. So I'm going to go DC number 1 because of how many recognizable Batman villains, aside from the Joker, there are, and how deep that universe goes. I think the Batman universe is deeper than the Spider-Man universe, which puts Marvel number 2. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then Disney. I'm going to go Disney 3. Not because it's animated, because it's Disney, but because I'm more of a comic book reader, comic book and superhero fanatic, that they're going to go number 1 and then Disney's going to go number 2. So, this is the first time in 2017 we've done top 5. Right? So let's go top 5 for your number 1 Marvel villains. But I want to know how many we have that are the same. So you go first.
All right. Venom, Carnage, Magneto, Loki, Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom. We had 2.
Venom and Carnage.
The symbiotes. Yeah, of course we have. Of course. We've shared why. We did a Spider-Man episode.
Yeah.
And we shared our favorites, right? So I'm going to give you my top 5. Ready?
Okay.
In order. Carnage. Sabretooth. Red Skull. Taskmaster. And Venom. Dude, Taskmaster can mimic anybody in the Marvel Universe. Tell me that's not the best fucking power ever. He needs to be in the movie right now. He needs to be in... I don't give a fuck if it's the Defenders or if... Like, you could pull off a Taskmaster in the Defenders. You just put a man with a skull mask. Same thing as Black Mask. I'm getting really hyped about Taskmaster right now. I'm sorry. Let me apologize. Let me tone it down a little bit. Doctor Doom is one of the best Marvel villains for everybody, right?
Yeah.
He didn't make my list because lack of exposure.
Yeah.
And then the portrayal that they've portrayed him in the television universe. If he was in the Marvel movies, I feel like he'd be creme de la creme. But it's because I don't really see Doctor Doom that much. He doesn't get the tops, and Carnage has had resurgence in the comic book world. Like they did a story arc Carnage versus Deadpool, which was amazing. And then they're doing a whole lot with Venom now. Now that there's a new holder of the symbiote, and they were explaining the symbiote a lot, where the symbiote is actually a good entity, and it just lacks onto bad people. So, not the Carnage symbiote, that's generally bad, but the Venom symbiote is good, and it latches onto this new guy who's really a terrible person.
Worse than Cletus Cassidy?
Worse than Cletus Cassidy.
No way.
He's holding the symbiote hostage.
No, shit.
He's an ex-Marine who's got some really fucked up shit going on in his head, and he is holding the symbiote.
Cletus Cassidy was a fucking serial killer.
I know, but this guy he's the worst Venom they've had. Worse than Flash, worse than Eddie. And the Age of Venom's gone. So now it's back to being scary ass. Tongue dripping, spit all out of his mouth, ragged teeth, all that shit. That's the Venom that we're getting now. Alright? Let's go to my top villains with DC. I'll do my top 5. Deathstroke, Bane, Sinestro, the Joker, and Talon.
You got 3.
4 fucking Batman villains. You see what I mean? Like, 4 Batman villains. And it was so hard for me to pick, I like Doomsday, but then BVS clouds my mind about Doomsday. I love Darkseid, but I haven't seen much of him in the movies, and I don't read a lot of Superman comics. You know what I mean? I'm not a big Cheetah fan.
No.
Black Manta, because of Young Justice, Black Manta has become pretty dope.
Yeah.
And Sportsmaster. Sportsmaster is who I probably would be as a villain.
And he's so gonna be done on Arrow.
Yeah, well, there's all this talk that fucking everybody wants Ben Affleck to be on Arrow. It's not gonna happen.
David wants it.
Yeah, stop talking about it, David Ramsey. I love you, but stop talking about it. Top 5 DC villains.
Joker.
Okay.
Harley Quinn. Riddler. Bane. Deathstroke.
Damn, 5 fucking Batman villains. Well, technically, let's call Deathstroke a Titans villain.
Yeah.
Right? So, you have 4 Batman villains, one who's gained a lot of popularity in the Batman comics. So with both of us having all these Batman villains attached to our top 5, right? Is it because we're force-fed Batman so much?
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it because...
I mean, their villains are really good. But...
Yeah, they take a lot of... And this is the problem. Like, I feel like they put all their focus on Batman in DC. So that all their villains are going to have great storylines. They have their own... they did a Villains Forever story arc for a short run where villains would get #1 issues. Sinestro got one, Deathstroke got one, Bane got one, Poison Ivy, so on, right? Darkseid didn't get one. Doomsday didn't get one. I don't think Black Manta probably got one. Cheetah got one. I don't know how the fuck that got one. But, you don't get, Archicus, or I can't pronounce his name, from the Green Lanterns. the big Red Lantern monster. You don't get his line. Like, I feel like there could be so many more badass Green Lantern heroes, villains, that aren't getting any time, and you see them in a short one piece or one shot, and that's it. So you think with Arrow, like, how many fucking Arrow villains do you know? Merlin? Right? That's it. But then, like, Count Vertigo and, Tobias Church. I mean, I don't think he was in the comics, but you have, like, such one-and-done characters in there. Komodo was a pretty cool villain in the not the Forever Evil, but there was an Outbreak kind of Hunter's War storyline where there was a bunch of storylines with different archers and shit. That was really cool. But like I feel like again we're force-fed Batman to the point that all of the creative minds at DC are just creating all these elaborate backstories for his villains to gain more popularity. That's why you might see a dead Deathstroke fighting Lobo. Mm-hmm. Like, work more on Lobo to bring Lobo to the light. You don't need Deathstroke to carry it. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't need Deathstroke fighting Aquaman. Let Aquaman fight Ocean Master. You're putting out a fucking movie. Showcase Ocean Master. Showcase these characters in your upcoming movie that you're going to have. Like, this is... I find a way to bash DC. But DC is killing everything but movies when it comes to, like, that world in regards to Marvel. It's better in TV.
Cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons. Their animated stuff and their comics are better than Marvel. Right? And they have more, like, the TV stuff, I don't count the Netflix stuff. Because that's, like, once a year. And that's, like, an event. I'm talking Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, Flash, right? That's beating Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Right? And it was beating Agent Carter when it was out. So you have all, like, they're killing the game in everything but movies when it comes to their competition with Marvel. Even with the comics. But the thing I like about the comics are what Marvel did, and you texted me about it and I had seen it, they changed the lineup of the Defenders to reflect their cinematic universe. Right? So now your Defenders are Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Punisher will probably get put in there. Yeah. Right? Why isn't DC showcasing the characters we're about to see? You're not giving us an Aquaman origin story. It's a pickup piece. Yeah. Right? So you have Aquaman and you have Ocean Master, right? Showcase Ocean Master in the next Aquaman run. Right? You did this whole rebirth. Showcase that. Showcase Jon Stewart. Because we're gonna get Jon Stewart in this Lethal Weapon space comedy that we're gonna be getting, which fucking sounds awful. Showcase Deathstroke again, because he's coming in the Batman. But instead of doing it, and as cool as it sounds, like the Justice League and the Power Rangers crossover, do a Justice League run where Steppenwolf is a character. Yeah. Because I want to know more about him, more than he's just a bitch of Darkseid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Showcase. So people don't go blind. Like, I don't really know much about Steppenwolf.
No. He's a herald of Darkseid. That's pretty much it. And Syrian Hines is playing him. That's all we know. Right? And he looked like a weird-ass monster. And he looked like something from a Tenacious D music video in the end of Batman vs. Superman version. Yeah. So, like, showcase these characters and bring more fans in. That's why, I feel like that's why DC movies are failing in the comic book realm, because the people like us who care about the comic books and care about the survival and the longevity of comic books, because that is a great media, we're feeling lackluster because they're not connecting the dots. You know what I mean? They're going all over. You remember Connect the Dots when we were kids, right? Oh, yeah. They're going all over the fucking map, and what's supposed to look like an elephant looks like a pentagram. You know what I mean? It just goes all over. So no one knows what they're doing over there, and it's depressing, because I think that if you're going to have these villains and these characters show up, establish a backstory. Yeah. Don't rely on Grant Gustin's Flash series to dictate what Ezra Miller's Flash movie is going to be like. Because some people don't watch the Flash series because it's on the CW. Mm-hmm. but they're going to go see the Ezra Miller Flash movie and say, "Oh, this Flash sucks. I'm done with the Flash." You know what I mean? It's bullshit. Off of my DC rant, and
you went on for.
Would you believe that DC was my number one villains, and I just shit on them? I mean, I don't. I shit on their movie universe because
you shit on how they're portrayed.
Yeah, and it comes from a concerned fan, not a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah,
because we've talked about how we're a Marvel apologist, right? Mm-hmm. Marvel doesn't make any bad choices, right?
No, they do.
But we shit on DC, right? Yeah, so we could be classified as Marvel fanboys, but I just said that Marvel is second place in everything but movies. So, justify myself, get my geek card back, not just a Marvel card back. Speaking of what we're talking about, however, I want to go back to Marvel. The one thing that they do wrong is the execution of the villains. Think about the villains that we've had, right? Starting with Red Skull. Mm-hmm. Last time we saw Red Skull was in 2007, right? Ultron's dead. Mm-hmm. Caecilius is dead.
Yep.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yellow Jacket's dead. Right? Malekith's dead. Ronin's dead.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah. Who else? Who else do we have? You get the picture. Not just Marvel Studios, but Apocalypse is dead.
Yeah.
And Apocalypse is dead. Viper's dead from Wolverine. Right? So we have these villains and they kill them off. Right? That's what they do wrong with the villains.
Yeah, they kill them off way too quick.
Cottonmouth's dead. Purple Man's dead. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, and this might be a little foreshadowing that we don't pick up on. Maybe Thanos is resurrecting all these villains? Because when the Russos said that there's 64 characters or whatever that number is, and I know that was just a number they threw out, maybe it's not just new characters that we're going to see, but he's going to resurrect all these.
That would be amazing.
He's going to bring death into it. And
not going to happen.
I told you my theory, though. I think we're going to see Quicksilver again. I think that he's going to resurrect Quicksilver. And Quicksilver's going to be a villain. And he's going to fuck with Scarlet Witch because he knows how powerful Wanda is. That would be great, though. Tell me that storyline would be amazing.
It would. I just don't think it's going to happen.
What the hell is Taylor Johnson doing? Or Aaron Taylor Johnson doing? Besides the John Cena movie.
He just got a Golden Globe.
What movie was he in?
Nocturnal Animals.
Did you see it?
Nope.
Okay. Again, what else is he doing? He should do Quicksilver. He should be Quicksilver again. I liked him as Quicksilver.
He should. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh well. But Pip the Troll. Finally get Pip the Troll. Is he going to be if we really get Pip the Troll, and that's who Peter Dinklage is playing in Infinity Wars? Is he going to go in your top 5?
Probably not. MODOK would be.
Oh my god, dude! I read an article, and this. I was going to say this for the Geek Gallery, but we're talking about villains, so this is appropriate. I read an article of the 5 characters Peter Dinklage can play.
I did.
On comicbookmovie.com.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. MODOK was number 1.
Yep.
It's the only one I want.
Yeah.
And when I sent you that picture, the first thing I said was MODOK. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. Make it happen. Make it fucking happen. I know a lot of people thought Toby Jones was going to be MODOK, but no. Peter Dinklage. If you're getting somebody with his clout, he's got to be a huge fucking villain.
Yeah.
Not Pip the Troll. Can't be Pip the Troll. Personally, I don't know, but I would really. I'm looking forward to seeing how, if he is Pip the Troll, how Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin relate on screen. That's going to be amazing. So let's move on to our top 5s because I got 3 more top 5s.
Yep.
I went top 5 crazy. I'm getting them all out for 2017. Who are your top 5 Disney villains? I want to see if we have. I know we might have 2 or 3 on this one. Go ahead.
Scar.
Okay.
Oogie Boogie.
Okay, from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Captain Hook.
Okay.
Jafar.
Right.
Ursula.
Damn, we had 4.
Really?
Yeah. So, in order, Scar, Shere Khan, Captain Hook, Ursula, and Jafar. Look at that. I don't know the villain in in Frozen, but he doesn't make any of my list. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he was a villain, but kind of not a villain. He was Prince Hans.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck Prince Hans. I don't give a shit about him. Disney has really great villains.
Yeah.
Maleficent didn't make either of our lists.
No.
But we've talked about Maleficent before. I kind of feel bad for her. Where she's been tortured.
Yeah.
And she's been scorned. And you don't fuck with a woman who's been scorned. No. There's a cliche that I forgot, but you don't mess with a woman scorned. I think that's what it is.
No, hell have no fury like a woman scorned.
Beautiful. You got that tattooed on your neck, don't you?
On my butthole.
It's on your butthole. God, that's a painful tattoo, my friend. And that's TMI in this episode. But when you think about villains, there are so many. The hyenas, they were villains. Yeah. The evil queen. You know what I mean? The dragon from...
Even the lamb in Zootopia.
Yeah. Fuck that lamb. Jenny Slate.
She was a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. Sure was. And Bruce.
Bruce the Shark?
Yeah. He was a villain, right? Who's the villain in Finding Nemo?
What was it?
Bruce the Shark. He's going to eat him. Fish are friends.
Darla, the fucking little girl who was trying to kill all the fish?
Yeah. Oh, Sid? Sid's a badass villain from Toy Story. Yeah. Fuck that kid. I feel like I was that kid when I was a child.
Skull t-shirts?
Dude, I used to throw my... I had a neighbor. His name was Anthony, and he's dead now, but he was my best friend at the time. We had a privacy fence, and we would play with our Ninja Turtle action figures, and when we got done with one, we'd just throw them over the fence to each other. You know how many legs were broken? It was a 6-foot fence, and we're just throwing them over the cement driveways. Yeah, that's the collector in me is looking at. Well, you've seen my Ninja Turtle collection. Yeah. They're missing a shitload of pieces.
Yeah.
The collector in me is crying, but the child in me was like, "Yeah, Rocksteady!" And I'm throwing him over, and he fucking breaks. And I was like, "Mom, I need new Rocksteady," and nope, masking tape around that bitch.
But not only like the cartoons, but like Captain Barbossa was a good villain.
Yeah, he really was.
And played by Jeffrey Rush in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
And Gaston.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
Gaston is like a medieval douchebag. Like, he might be the very first douchebag. Right?
Yeah.
His fucking pompadour haircut, that little mullet ponytail he's got, little open fucking, like... He's the first guy I've seen with a V-neck. Rocking a V-neck with his chest out. His hairy-ass chest out. And he's got a little fat fucking troll. We got Pip the Troll as his little lackey. He's a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's a Jersey Shore douchebag set in medieval times, fighting a beast. Alright. Now we're going to enter your universe. And I guess it's my universe, too. I'm a big fan of this. Star Wars. Galaxy far, far away, Chuckles. Give me the top 5 villains. And this one might be hard for you. Was it hard for you?
Yeah, because I had more.
Yeah, of course. Let me see what you got.
Darth Vader.
Okay.
Darth Maul.
Okay.
Kylo Ren.
Okay.
Boba Fett.
Okay.
Emperor Palpatine.
Now, we weren't talking about this. I was talking to myself about this while I was driving home last night. As I do. Boba Fett, really a villain or a gun for hire?
Well, and that's the thing. I think he is a villain because he was a gun for hire. And like I talked about before, his selfishness.
Alright, so what if Han hired him to kill Jabba? Still a villain?
Yeah.
Even if the good guy hired him?
Yeah.
Does that make Han a villain?
Doesn't make him good.
Doesn't make him great.
No.
Alright. I was just curious because
Jabba is my honorable mention.
Is Django a villain, or was it by circumstance that he became bad?
That's tough.
It's very tough, right? It's hard to think about with Django. Django doesn't get any love.
No.
Because he was part of a very shitty universe.
Yeah.
Like, those 3 movies, they were bad. We were pretty close. I didn't include Kylo because he's too emotional for me. And I want to see more about Kylo in Episode 8. I've had a very small taste of Kylo Ren, so he's not on my list. But we got Vader, and he was number 2 until I saw Rogue One, where I talked about it in the car with you today. That scene in Rogue One was a reshoot.
Yeah.
And that was the most badass that Darth Vader has been in any Star Wars movie. Fair to say?
Yeah.
So, he took number 1 spot. Then I got Darth Maul. Love Darth Maul. Love Ray Park. Count Dooku. Love Count Dooku. Emperor Palpatine, who needs to drink his Ovaltine, and then Jabba the Hutt.
I'm surprised you didn't put Greedo on there.
I think he's a victim. I think Greedo is a victim of an arrogant asshole, Han Solo. I don't like Han Solo because he killed my boy Greedo. Greedo and Bosk, the most underutilized.
Speaking of Bosk, the guy that
he's going to be at Great Philadelphia.
is going to be a...
Come on now. With Ivan Ooze? Yeah, they're all going to be there. All the villains are going to be there. I'm not going to meet him because he's like 130 now.
Yeah.
And he was in prosthetics the whole time. I want to see some old fucking leathered man looking like Bosk without prosthetics. I want to see that. Alright. We're going to take the next step. Top 5 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villains. We're probably 5 for 5. Maybe 4 for 5. What do you got?
Shredder?
Yep.
Krang?
Yep.
Bebop?
Yep.
Rocksteady?
Yep.
Rat King?
Nope. Shredder, Rocksteady, Krang, Bebop, Slash. The special needs turtle.
Yeah, he was.
I love special needs turtle. And I didn't pick Rat King because I knew you were going to pick him.
I love
I don't want to be different. Rat King was good. We'll never see Rat King. We'll never see Slash. We'll never see any more Krang or Bebop and Rocksteady because Michael Bay doesn't want to do a third Turtles. I blame Rotten Tomatoes. And if you just started the podcast right now, go back to the first 7 minutes, and you'll know why I blame Rotten Tomatoes. All right, so now we're going to do the first top 10. All right? Your top 10 favorite villains throughout all the brands. What do you got?
Darth Vader.
Okay.
Boba Fett.
Okay.
Joker.
Okay.
Magneto.
Okay.
Carnage.
Okay.
Venom. Shredder. Scar.
Okay.
Jafar. Deathstroke.
All right. So I got Carnage, Deathstroke, Bane, Venom, Taskmaster, Shere Khan, Darth Vader, Shredder. Oh, I'm losing him. I had 3 gimmies. Oh, Moriarty
No.
from Sherlock. Sauron, not Sauron. Azog from the movie that we're watching right now, The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
And then fuck. I'm just gonna, we'll just go Red Skull because I forgot my 10th. Red Skull. That's my 10. I might have just did 12. I don't know. I was doing my top five on one hand, and I just did my middle finger and my ring finger, just go back and forth. The other 3 fingers were like phantom fingers. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Take off Red Skull and add George Lucas for those shit movies he put out. After the original Star Wars. So we'll add George Lucas. So we're going to go right to the hypotheticals. All right, Chuck? The studios that we talked about, Disney and Marvel and the Star Wars universe, I didn't put DC down there. I must have forgot. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, they come up and they back up a ton of money, right? And they say, Chuck, we're going to give you a chance to play a villain from each of our universes, and you can start a movie or a comic book series, whichever. Who would you be? Let's start with Marvel.
Carnage.
Okay.
Just because, he's, to me, bad of the bad. Like I said earlier. You're a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the symbiote.
Yep.
And you're 10 times worse.
Yeah. And it's the complete opposite of who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always fun to kind of push your limits.
And that's the thing, if you know, I love villains.
Yeah.
And I always go for the bad guys. I always go for, because it's not me. And I can fantasize about what I would do. You know what I mean? I would never go kill people and do all this.
Because it's illegal. But if it was Purge Night, best believe you'd be out there.
But
you would be.
You know what I mean?
I'd be out there.
The reason I think I like comic books and Star Wars and all like this, because it takes you into a fantasy world that, unlike your own.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm not a villain, and I'm not a bad guy, I don't think. So...
Jury's still out.
I like bad guys because of that.
Yeah. Well, also, in certain... in the movies that we watch and the comics that we read, sometimes they humanize the villains to show you that they weren't always bad. There was something that turned them. And it shows you that anybody can actually become a bad guy.
Yeah.
Cletus Cassidy was always a bad guy.
Yeah.
So well, I can't humanize that bastard, but there is something about villains that is very appealing. Girls like dating the bad guys. Geeks like rooting for the villains because they know they get the short end of the stick. They're always fighting people with superpowers and shit and money. Joker doesn't have money. You know what I mean? He's just fucking crazy, and he found more crazy people who might have money to help him, and he extorts people. So I get it. All right, give me your Disney character.
Jafar.
Oh yeah, sorcerer.
Sorcerer, bad guy.
Epic fucking goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's badass.
I'm so glad they didn't design him with a soul patch. God, he's a character I would think would have soul patch. Yeah. TMNT.
Shredder.
Yep.
Just because he's badass.
Because it's Shredder.
He's Shredder.
And he's human.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a
I don't want to be a rhino. I don't want to be a brain with tentacles.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Boba.
Okay.
And I'm a huge Boba Fett. Always have been, always will be.
Yeah, you got the mythosaur on your leg.
Yeah. I love Boba Fett. And just to be a bounty hunter,
yeah.
I think it's cool. So, and he doesn't get a lot of love.
No, he doesn't. He's about to get a lot of love because he's about to be Michael B. Jordan in the movie.
Fuck that.
So he's about to get a lot of love.
Fuck that.
Well, I don't. Who knows what's happening in the Star Wars universe now? They said that the Han Solo movie is being delayed. Who the fuck knows? Yeah. Give me a DC character you want to be right up the top. Deathstroke. You want to be Clayface?
I would want to be Clayface, but I just want
Clayface didn't even make your top 5.
I was thinking about that.
I'm very surprised that Clayface.
Yeah,
didn't make your top
I was going to
5.
take him out and take Bane out and put him in, but
Bane for Clayface? Get out of here!
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, get out of here! All right, so you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Marvel, I'd be Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Right? Disney, I'd go back and be that medieval douchebag, Gaston, and I'd rock a mean ass soul patch because he's another character who needs a soul patch. If I were Gaston, I'd probably cornrow that pompadour haircut that he's got. So I'd go back and be like, "Yo, Belle," flexing on her like I'm gonna kill your beast boyfriend. And I got these sweet ass cornrows with beads in them. That's what I would do. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously be Shredder. Sure. And then Star Wars, I'd be Vader. So I could choke the shit out of people.
You want to be Greedo?
No, again, he's a hero in my world.
He's a victim.
He is a victim. Hashtag justice for Greedo. Because he deserves justice. And then for DC, I'd be Talon. And I'd probably come and kill Deathstroke, just so you know. Okay, so get ready for it. I would come and kill you. I don't want to be a symbiote because I don't want something else controlling me. I want to be controlling myself, and I also want to be a guy in a white hood with a skull face and a shield and a sword, like a medieval knight that can just mimic powers. So I want to be that guy. Don't want to be Red Skull. I enjoy my face, and I don't think he can grow a beard. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Who's the worst villain in comic book history?
I'm bringing him up.
Okay. Greedo.
Arm fall off boy.
Oh my god.
He's a horrible villain.
Uh-huh.
I got him into the podcast. Arm fall off boy. If you don't know, look him up. Dumbass fucking power. His arms fall off. He can detach his arms and beat you with them.
You love Arm Fall Off.
I do love Arm Fall Off Boy, but he is horrible.
Alright, I'm gonna... My worst is Chameleon. And I like Chameleon. But I think, like, from a standpoint of design, he sucked.
Yeah.
He looked like a guy with a fucking bag, like a pantyhose over his face. So he was from a design standpoint, he sucks. His powers are really cool, but I just think he was the worst choice. Now, if I'm thinking maniacal, like who's the worst person to be a villain, it's Cletus Cassidy. Like he's a psychopath, like you said. We've talked about.
But the way I took it was like
no, I know.
Okay,
yeah, but like Cletus Cassidy and the Joker would be the worst people to become villains because they're crazy.
Yeah.
Who's the worst villain of all time in movies?
All right, I threw a couple out there.
Okay.
Hector Hammond in Green Lantern.
Okay. Oh God.
That was fucking
Parasite, right? No. Was he?
I don't know what he was considered.
I think it was Parasite.
But the Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four 2015 version.
Yeah.
And this one's really bad. And it can take a villain because they killed a lot of people. Nature. In The Happening.
Oh, my God. Fucking M. Night Shyamalan is the worst villain in all movies.
If you haven't seen The Happening...
Don't watch it.
Don't watch
it at all.
So, the basis of the movie was... Everyone starts to die.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know why. And here they come out. It's fucking nature.
Yeah.
It's the plants...
Plants are killing everybody.
Toxin... Because it hates what we're doing to the planet.
Just stupid.
I like M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, you might be the only one, Chuck.
And I do like him. I mean, from The Sixth Sense, Signs, and what was that one?
Unbreakable.
Great movies. And then
don't forget his greatest one, Lady in the Water.
That wasn't good. And then I even liked The Village.
I hated The Village.
A lot of people hated
that movie. Sucked a fat hog.
But I do want to see Split.
Split looks great. The Visit was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I knew the twist immediately.
Yeah.
Within 3 minutes of the movie, I was like, I know this.
But, so The Happening, I'm watching it, my buddy's like, dude, you're going to break your TV. So he rented it, gave it to me, here, watch it. So I'm watching it, and at the end, when it comes out that...
It's the plants?
It's the plants. I literally, because me and him were living together, I came out of my room, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the whole movie.
So,
and I'll never
that is the worst villain because nature.
Yeah, I get you.
Fuck that. It was stupid.
Alright, so I'm going to go... The worst villain is definitely Doomsday from Batman vs. Superman. For me, in the movie.
Okay.
He sucked.
Looked like a retarded Ninja Turtle.
He looked like a mutated Ninja Turtle. He was not good. So, Doomsday was not good for me. As far as an aesthetic, why I didn't like him. Who was the baddest villain, like the worst? You have the Joker, obviously, in Dark Knight, who, he was just evil. Like, pure evil. Honorable mention for worst villain creation, Topher Grace's portrayal as Venom in Spider-Man 3. And also Spider-Man 3, for being Spider-Man 3. That was awful. There's a few honorable mentions, actually. Jamie Foxx's Electro was really bad, and so was Paul Giamatti's Rhino. That was pretty terrible.
I love Rhino, and that was shit.
I just think that... I don't know. I just think that it's... The focus on movies is the good guy. So you focus on the storylines and stuff like that, and then you give 5 minutes of an explanation of the bad guy, and then he's all of a sudden bad, and then you don't really dive deeper into his characters. You know what I mean? So I think the bad guys get a very bad rep. They could all be good. They just need love. Justice for Greedo. Justice for Greedo. If you were to give a villain their own movie or TV show, who would it be?
Venom/Carnage.
Okay, so a symbiote movie.
Yeah.
Would you include Toxin and Anti-Venom and all them? Or just start with those two?
Start with those two.
Okay.
I mean, I've talked about the 100. I want a Carnage movie.
Uh-huh.
And I want Venom done right.
Now, the Carnage movie you're going to get is going to be a Sony movie.
That's so stupid.
Because you can't have a serial killer, crazy alien symbiote Disney movie. I don't think they could do it. Unless they put it in, like, a Carnage Netflix series would be pretty dope. And, Marvel's showing out a lot of money for their TV properties. Cloak and Dagger got a huge TV budget for Freeform. For Freeform. I think the TV budget could buy Freeform. You know what I mean? So
how much you get?
I think it was like anywhere between 60 to 80 million. That's a lot of money. And where a Daredevil is 80 to 100 million. You know what I mean? I think you think about it, for Freeform.
Yeah.
To get that much money is ridiculous. So I don't know. So you're going Symbiote, Carnage, and Venom movie, right? I would love to see a Kraven series.
Yeah.
Kraven the Hunter. And not just hunting Spider-Man. I would love to see him hunting heroes in general. Kraven the Hero Hunter would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
As far as a movie, I would like to see a Court of Owl movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good storyline, although it would be kind of, it would end up just turning into a Batman movie. It'd be called Batman Court of Owls.
Yeah,
but I would like it to be a period piece where it's before Thomas Wayne was in existence, like when it was the building of Gotham and how corrupt it was, and how
that'd be cool.
And like kind of like the way that Gotham has portrayed Talon, like with that look, where he's got like the little, like he's at a masquerade, and he's got that. I would eventually like to see the Owl Mask come out. I'd also like to see a Mr. Freeze series. Not a
with
movie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, God, no. Maybe with the Victor Freeze from
Gotham.
from Gotham. He's good. We haven't seen him yet. No. I don't want a Joker movie. I feel like it would again become a Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I picked a Batman villain, but it would all become a Batman movie in the world of DC. IGN and Wizard do all these number ones, right? Who do you think they picked? This is just for shits and giggle. Who do you think they picked?
Darth Vader.
Nope.
Joker.
Joker is number one across the board for heroes. Is that a fair assessment that he's the best hero of all time? Or God, hero. He's the best villain of all time?
He might be the most recognizable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what they put him in the best, because people know him.
Yeah, no superpowers.
No.
Like, alright, so let's say Magneto is, no, I'm not going to put Magneto. Doctor Doom is probably Marvel's strongest villain. Right? Joker survive Doctor Doom?
No.
Does Joker survive Magneto?
No.
Joker survive Ultron?
No.
Thanos?
No.
How about Bane?
No.
How about Sinestro?
No.
Any of the symbiotes?
No.
So why is he number one? Is it just because he's recognizable and he's from Batman?
I think that's what it is.
Batman bias. Hashtag Batman bias. Hashtag Batman bias. Hashtag Justice for Greedo. Get him trending. Get him trending. I want him trending.
Hashtag arm fall off boy.
No. Yeah, that's getting deleted. We're going to open the Geek Gallery in 2017. I don't even know if we opened the Geek Gallery in the Underworld one. If we did, it got cut probably because it was probably talking about like The Exorcist or something. I think that's actually what we were talking about. So if we open up, we're going to open up the Geek Gallery. What you got for the Geek Gallery?
It was officially announced this week that Woody Harrelson has joined Han Solo movie.
Yes.
And I love Woody, and he's really, since Hunger Games...
I love having a Woody. It's the greatest feeling ever.
And since the Hunger Games, he's really found a niche
into
the sci-fi kind of world, because he was in all 3 Hunger Games.
Yep.
All 4, I guess, because it was part 2.
I know you're right.
And then
he's going to be in the Planet of the Apes.
He's going to Planet of the Apes. He looks fucking badass.
Yeah, he's a villain.
Yeah. Man, he's got the shaved head and the fucking...
But is he a villain, or are the apes the villain?
Apes are the villain.
Not my world. Apes are my brothers. So I am going to be... I side with the apes. I don't side with Woody Harrelson. I'm Jason O'Mara's part. I'm hanging with the apes. And Cody Schmidt McPhee. Nightcrawler. I'm hanging with all the apes. Go ahead.
And then now he's going to be in this. And he's a mentor, but it seems like he's also kind of a... I wouldn't say villain.
He's a driving force that turns Han Solo into who he is.
Yeah. And they said he's not the nicest guy.
Yeah, well, of course. Usually mentors aren't. You ever see Whiplash?
No.
J.K. Simmons was not a nice mentor.
But, so, I mean, that cast is really shaping up.
He said that it blew his mind that he was invited and even offered a role to be in Star Wars. I guess he never thought he would be, like, this is a guy who did White Man Can't Jump. You know what I mean? And now he's in a Star Wars movie.
And he was friggin' in Cheers.
Yeah, so, congrats to Woody Harrelson. I'm sure he's not listening, but congrats to him.
Yeah, I think just, Donald Glover as...
And him.
Yeah, and he just won a Golden Globe.
Yep.
I mean, Donald Glover as Lando is awesome.
He won 2, right? For his role in Atlanta and then for Atlanta.
I don't know.
I know Atlanta won, like...
Best comedy.
And he wrote that. That's his show, and he's writing more for FX. So yeah, he said he's gonna get in shape for Lando. Yeah, he said he's gonna get buff for Lando. Like, could you imagine this little guy being buff for Lando Calrissian? I hope there's a cape. I hope he's got the mustache.
It's gotta be.
He's growing his hair to get in Jerry curl. You know this, right?
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Oh man, about time we get Jerry curls back.
And then Emilia Clarke is going to be the female.
Yep. Oh.
And I mean, the guy that played Han Solo, I've only seen him in one thing, so he's the only one I'm iffy with.
What was he in?
The only thing I seen was Hail Caesar. Now, he was in more, but that's
I didn't even see that. I'd probably never seen him in anything.
No.
Okay. All right, so that's what you're geeking out about?
Yep.
All right, so I've been geeking out about TV, right? We're in fucking mid-season.
Lol.
Yeah, but I've been watching the new season of Sherlock.
I have not.
Season 4, amazing. 2 episodes already. 3rd one coming out tomorrow.
Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes shitting on it.
That show is great.
Like 57%.
You know why? You know why they're shitting on it? Because the people that are watching it are narrow-minded and they don't understand it. You have to get inside your brain to watch that show. It's all over the place. From episode 1, it was all over the place.
Yeah, I haven't watched a new season.
It's amazing that that's getting a 57 and fucking Vikings is getting 100. And I've heard Vikings is actually a really good show. I might start binging that. And then I watched a new television show called Taboo.
Yeah.
That came out on Tuesday.
How's that?
Really good.
Weird shit, isn't it?
Weird as shit. But it's dark. It's a dark show. I didn't on-demand it. I was a little frustrated that I didn't, but then, because I hate commercials, so I watched it on the FX on-demand, right? Or I didn't DVR, that's what I meant. So I watched it on-demand, and you had spoke about how you watch Shooter on-demand, and they drop fuck in it. Same thing with FX. So I think if it's on-demand, you're getting the uncensored version, as opposed to if you DVR it. So it kind of makes me not want to watch The Walking Dead live and watch it on demand to see if you get the fucks in that too. Yeah. I'm curious. I don't know. I've been geeking out about that. That's pretty much it. I haven't seen any movies because there's really nothing out that I want to see.
I seen Sully last week. That was good.
I've heard it was good.
I didn't want to watch it.
Oh, I saw the Jason Bourne movie. I didn't like it.
No,
it was too boring. It was too boring.
We actually watched it at the same time.
Yeah, in different houses. So yeah, I don't know about that. Oh, the main thing. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I forgot this. Is that Constantine got picked up as a CWC show. So there's still hope that it might become a live action. I don't know if that's what Jeff Johns was saying about a 5th show being added.
I doubt it.
I hope not. I hope it's another primetime show. I really could see Vixen getting a live action spinoff. They've incorporated her a lot in the...
I love the GSA.
Yeah. JSA?
JSA.
I don't know if they could do that. I think they probably could. Suits is probably ending soon, so we could have Our Man and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm just pumped that Constantine is back and it's going to be Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the Geek Gallery. We're going to close it. We're going to plug ourselves now. We are on Twitter, @ActiveGeek_. We are on Facebook, Active Geek. We are on Instagram, The Active Geek. We are on SoundCloud, The Active Geek Podcast. On iTunes, The Active Geek Podcast. And we're also on Spreaker under the Geek Culture Cast Network with our friends from Legends of the Panel Podcast and Warp My Tars and Microverse Podcast. And we are also on their network in the iTunes store as well. So subscribe to us on all of our... I don't care if you subscribe to us on iTunes and the Geek Culture Cast under both of us, because that's more plays for us in general and for the network. So make sure you keep supporting us. We got some good stuff coming out for you. Working on some music for the intro. Working on some guests. I got some ideas, and we have some awesome upcoming podcasts.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that, and we got a special surprise one coming in about 2 months.
Yeah.
So just because you're a bad guy doesn't make you a villain. When you cross that line, you start killing people and become a serial killer, you might be a villain. And remember, #Justice for Greedo. See you.
Peace.